So when I was in school, one of my friends had a Genesis, and we loved playing that. I go to his house to play it. So I asked my mom to get me a Genesis, and she didn't want to for the longest time. And eventually, one time we went to Toys R Us, and I was just there looking for whatever. And she surprised me by taking me, telling me we're going to get a Super Nintendo. And I was excited either way, Super Nintendo Genesis, either one would have been great. But when we got to okay, so here's another thing. Most of you don't know what Toys R Us is, maybe the younger kids, but maybe some of you know, or some of you don't know, like when it was like in the 80s. So up until Toys R Us like went away, bankruptcy, I don't know, like 10 years ago, everything was behind a glass case. You ask people to unlock it, whatever, they give it to you, kind of like other department stores are now. But back in the 80s and early 90s, Toys R Us, everything they had was on the shelf. You'd take a little ticket, and that ticket you'd take to a big locked up area where they locked up all the high value stuff, which was games and consoles. And then you go take the ticket, and they would get you a console and ring up. You pay for it there, I guess, to prevent theft. So my mom got the little ticket for the Super Nintendo. We went all the way to the little place where they locked up everything, gave the ticket, did everything, and then they went to go get the Super Nintendo. There was no Super Nintendo in stock. Because in theory, there should be enough tickets on the shelf as there are stuff in stock, but there were one short. The last ticket, what I thought was the last one, didn't actually have one to, associate with it and be sold with it. So then we went to get a Genesis instead, and I was still happy with that because, like I said, my friend had Genesis, and I played that a lot, and I was a big fan of Sonic, so I was like, that'd be cool. So we get the Genesis and take everything home. And at that time, I think maybe Toys R Us was like maybe a 20, 30-minute drive for us. So we take it all home. My mom sets it up for me. We start playing it. And I start noticing that as you move the wire on the controller or maybe slightly touch the console would reset. And I was like so happy. I was so excited. I got it. Like, oh my gosh. I was like, I hope they have another one. So we went back and they had another one. They exchanged it. So we got another one. And that one's worked perfectly. It works perfectly to this day. So that's how I got my Genesis.